In the lush province of Mpumalanga, where the mountains kissed the sky and rivers wove through valleys, a young woman named Sibongile lived a simple but content life. Known for her radiant smile and sharp wit, she was beloved by her family and community. At 25, Sibongile had dreams of one day owning her own clothing boutique and creating a better future for herself and her family. Her life took an unexpected turn when she met Chijioke, a handsome Nigerian man who had recently moved to the area. Chijioke exuded charm and sophistication. His deep, melodic voice and magnetic presence drew people in wherever he went. When Sibongile first saw him at a local market, she couldn't take her eyes off him. Chijioke noticed her too, and their connection was instant. He approached her with a confident smile, and they struck up a conversation. Within weeks, they were inseparable. Sibongile felt like she was living in a dream. Chijioke treated her like a queen, showering her with gifts and attention. But Chijioke was no ordinary man. Beneath his charismatic exterior lay a dark secret. He was a practitioner of forbidden rituals, using his charm to find vulnerable women whose spiritual energy he could exploit. Sibongile's life began to change shortly after she and Chijioke became intimate. At first, she thought it was the euphoria of love making her feel drained. But as time went on, she noticed something was wrong. She began to experience strange dreams, visions of Chijioke standing in a circle of fire, chanting in a language she didn't understand. Her once bright spirit dimmed. She lost her motivation to work on her business plans, and her family noticed she was no longer the lively, ambitious woman they knew. Sibongile started experiencing bouts of bad luck. Opportunities that once seemed certain slipped through her fingers, and her health began to deteriorate. Chijioke, however, seemed to thrive. His fortunes improved, and he always seemed full of energy and confidence. When Sibongile confided in him about her struggles, he dismissed her concerns with a gentle laugh, assuring her it was just a rough patch. But Sibongile couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. One night, while Chijioke was out, Sibongile's cousin Thandeka visited her. Thandeka had always been skeptical of Chijioke, sensing there was something unnatural about him. "Sibongile," Thandeka said, "you've changed since you met that man. You were full of life and luck before. Now look at you. You're a shadow of yourself. I think he's doing something to you." At first, Sibongile resisted the idea. She couldn't believe that the man who professed his love for her could harm her. But Thandeka insisted they visit a local Sangoma, someone known for helping people who had been bewitched. Reluctantly, Sibongile agreed. The Sangoma, an elderly woman named Gogo Mlongo, listened carefully as Sibongile shared her story. Gogo Mlongo's eyes darkened as she threw her bones onto the mat. She sat in silence for a moment before speaking. "The man you love is not what he seems," Gogo Mlongo said. "He has bound your spirit to his. Through your intimacy, he has stolen your luck and your power. He uses it to enrich himself while leaving you weak and vulnerable." Sibongile felt her stomach churn with fear and anger. How can I stop him? How can I get my life back? Gogo Mlongo prepared a ritual to sever the spiritual bond between Sibongile and Chijioke. But she warned that confronting Chijioke would be dangerous. "He will not give up easily," the Sangoma said. "You must be strong." That evening, Sibongile returned home and waited for Chijioke. When he arrived, she confronted him. "Chijioke," she said, her voice trembling but firm, "I know what you've done to me. You used me to steal my luck and my power." Chijioke's expression darkened, and the air in the room seemed to grow colder. "I did it because I love you," he said, his voice calm but menacing. "I needed your strength to build our future." "That's not love," Sibongile shouted. "You betrayed me and took everything from me." Chijioke's demeanor shifted, and his eyes seemed to glow with an unnatural light.
You don't understand what you're playing with, Sibongile. Without me, you'll be nothing. But Sibongile was prepared. She clutched a charm Gogo Malongo had given her, a small pouch filled with herbs and blessed ash. As Chijioke moved toward her, she threw the pouch to the ground and shouted the Sangoma's incantation. The room erupted with energy. A powerful wind howled through the house, and Chijioke screamed in pain as the bond between them was severed. His body convulsed, and he collapsed to the floor. When he looked up at her, his once charismatic face was twisted with rage.
"You'll regret this," he hissed, before disappearing into the night, reclaiming her life. After the ritual, Sibongile began to recover. Her energy returned, and her streak of bad luck ended. She started working on her business again, and opportunities began to flow her way. Though she had escaped Chijioke's clutches, the experience left her wary. She vowed to never let anyone take advantage of her again. In the quiet moments of the night, she sometimes thought of Chijioke and the love that had turned into a nightmare. But she knew that she was stronger now, stronger than she had ever been. The scars of betrayal remained, but so did the lessons. Love is powerful, but so is the will to survive. After his escape from Sibongile's house, Chijioke moved to another town in Mpumalanga. His powers, though weakened after the severing of his bond with Sibongile, were not entirely gone. His hunger for spiritual energy only grew stronger, driving him to seek out more unsuspecting victims. Chijioke knew how to blend in. He was charming and intelligent, a man who could make anyone feel special. His smooth-talking ways and expensive lifestyle made him irresistible to women who dreamed of a better life. But beneath his alluring exterior, Chijioke remained the predator he had always been. The pattern emerges. In the town of White River, Chijioke met Lerato, a young bank teller with aspirations of becoming a financial manager. Lerato was ambitious, kind-hearted, and captivated by Chijioke's sophistication. Within weeks, they were inseparable. Chijioke lavished her with gifts and promises of a future together. Lerato believed she had finally found her soulmate. But soon after they became intimate, Lerato's life began to unravel. She started experiencing unexplained fatigue, strange nightmares, and crippling anxiety. At work, her once sharp mind faltered. She made mistakes in her calculations and was eventually accused of negligence. Within a month, Lerato lost her job. Her health deteriorated rapidly. She lost weight, her hair began to fall out, and her once bright eyes grew dull. Friends and family tried to intervene, but Lerato insisted that she was just under stress. Chijioke, as always, played the role of the supportive boyfriend, staying by her side even as she spiraled downward. When Lerato's mother took her to a traditional healer, the truth came to light. The Sangoma revealed that Lerato's spiritual energy had been drained and tethered to a dark force, Chijioke. By the time Lerato realized the truth, it was too late. She passed away quietly in her sleep, her spirit consumed by the man she loved. The darkness spreads. Chijioke moved on quickly, finding his next victim in Mbombela. This time, it was a widowed schoolteacher named Zanele. She was drawn to his confidence and kindness, qualities she had longed for since her husband's passing. Chijioke, sensing her vulnerability, played the perfect gentleman, offering her a chance to heal and love again. But the same pattern repeated. After they became intimate, Zanele's luck turned sour. Her teaching job, which she had held for over a decade, was suddenly in jeopardy. She became forgetful, missing deadlines and failing to prepare lessons. Her colleagues whispered behind her back, and the school principal questioned her competence. Zanele's health also began to fail. She suffered from severe headaches and mysterious bleeding, leaving her weak and unable to function. When she sought help, the Sangoma confirmed the same dark truth. Chijioke had tethered her spiritual energy to his, feeding off her life force. Word began to spread among traditional healers in Mpumalanga. Sangomas in the area started warning women about a man who drained his lover's power through intimacy. But Chijioke was always one step ahead. As soon as whispers of his deeds reached a town, he would disappear, leaving behind a trail of broken lives. The ultimate price. One day, Chijioke met a woman named Kensani, a nurse who worked in a bustling hospital in Haziview. Kensani was different from the others, strong-willed and deeply spiritual. Chijioke underestimated her, believing she would be as easy to manipulate as the others. Kensani fell for Chijioke's charm, but remained cautious. After several months of dating, she began noticing strange signs. The dreams, the fatigue, and the way her usually steady life began to unravel. But Kensani wasn't willing to let it destroy her. Unlike the others, she had the wisdom to seek help early. Kensani visited an elder Sangoma, who quickly identified Chijioke's dark secret. The Sangoma explained that Chijioke was using an ancient ritual to transfer the spiritual energy of women to himself, amplifying his luck and vitality while leaving them drained. The only way to stop him was to confront him directly and destroy the objects he used in his rituals. The final confrontation. Determined to end Chijioke's reign of terror, Kensani played along, pretending not to know his secret. She convinced him to invite her to his home, where she suspected he kept his ritual tools. Once inside, she feigned interest in his belongings, carefully observing his reactions. When Chijioke stepped out, Kensani searched the house. In a hidden drawer, she found a small wooden box filled with trinkets, hair strands, pieces of jewelry, and scraps of fabric. Each item represented one of Chijioke's victims. The air around the box felt heavy, as though it pulsed with dark energy. When Chijioke returned and saw her holding the box, his calm demeanor shattered. "You shouldn't have touched that," he growled, his voice unnaturally deep. "You've hurt too many women, Chijioke," Kensani said, standing her ground. "It ends today." Chijioke lunged at her, but Kensani was prepared. She threw a pouch of protective herbs at him and recited an incantation taught to her by the Sangoma. The box burst into flames, and Chijioke screamed as the dark energy he had stolen over the years began to consume him. The house shook, and Chijioke collapsed, his body writhing as the spirits of his victims tore free from him. With one final anguished cry, he vanished into the smoke, leaving behind only ashes. A warning to all news of Chijioke's downfall spread throughout Mpumalanga. Women who had fallen victim to him slowly began to recover, their luck and vitality returning as his dark influence dissipated. Kensani became a local hero, praised for her courage and wisdom. But the story of Chijioke remained a cautionary tale, a reminder to all women to be wary of those who seem too good to be true. Love can be a powerful force, but so can the darkness that hides behind a charming smile.